Joseph.
And I'm Nick.
We watched episode 10 of Tyler Perry's Beauty in Black, now streaming on Netflix. This episode is called Power Struggle.
Yes.
You know, the last episode had some life to it, which was kind of surprising. So I was hoping we were going to continue on that train.
Power struggle. This is what anybody trying to give Tyler Perry advice goes through.
Unfortunately, this episode is the same old shit we're used to. Just a whole bunch of talking about nothing.
With bad dialogue, yes.
We're at Rico Ross's house, and everyone's worried about where Richard Lawson is. And Rico sees Jules and just goes, "Have you found Richard yet?" Like, no, girl. We're all looking. As soon as I know something, I'll let you know. So Jules leaves the house, and then Mallory comes out.
Mm-hmm.
And Mallory asks Jules, "Do you have a plan?" And he goes, "I don't have a plan." And then immediately says, "I got it." What?
Well, she's like, "Don't you bring Norman here."
Okay, then we cut to Angel in the car with Kimmie after they've killed Delinder.
Mm-hmm.
And she's just being crazy. I would have fully, I mean, at one point she says, if you're not going to be with me and help me, then you just need to go on ahead and get out of the car.
Which is not the first time she said this.
Why? I don't know why Angel's helping her at this point.
No idea. Well, maybe guilt, I guess, but he keeps, he's not even really putting up much criticism, but any little thing, she's like, "Get out of the car."
She's wild. Unreasonable.
But he's never been in doubt about helping her. But yet each time he has to reiterate, "Yes, I'm going to help you find your sister."
Then we cut to Jules at the motel because he's been called and he's been told that one of his girls might have been killed. So he gets down there, and then of course he knows everyone, all the cops, and someone tells him, "Oh, it's Latavia, da 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 da," and Jules looks so confused. And then the person goes, AKA Body.
The cop, yeah.
The cop.
Oh, yeah, Body.
So this man didn't even know his bottom bitch's real name?
Nope.
Okay. So this is Jules' plan, which is kind of inspired by Mallory. He decides, he finds this crackhead who was like a witness to what Kimmie did to Body. And he basically tells this guy, like, "Oh, I have a job for you and I'll pay you in drugs."
Mm-hmm.
And basically what Jules does is get this man super high and then tell him, like, "We're going to go to this house and you're going to pretend that you committed this crime." And that scene was so awkward. This man is so homely. And at one point he tells Jules and Mallory's very handsome driver, basically, like, "I don't do any gay shit."
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't think you have to worry about that, sir.
But why did they have to find somebody that was also a witness to Body's slaying? They could have picked up any crackhead.
Well, I think
and offered them this.
That's true. That's true. But I think that Jules just saw an opportunity.
Sure.
So I will give credit there that I think that he just saw an opportunity to get some fool.
Debo is very unfortunate looking.
And yeah, well, I mean, it doesn't even make sense to criticize the performances because I don't expect much.
Well, yeah, Tyler Perry writing a drug addict as a throwaway dramatic catalyst. Yeah.
Then we get back to Rico Ross's house,
mm-hmm.
and he and Debbie Morgan are just arguing. And again, these circular ass arguments.
She doesn't want to sit in another room.
You need to leave this room. I'm not leaving. You need to go to the other room. My son has been killed. You don't even care.
Don't you talk to me that way?
Oh my God.
Mm-hmm.
So then all of a sudden Jules brings.
But then Mallory is trying to run interference. Like and then Rico's disease comes back. He coughs. It's very Janet Jackson and For Colored Girls. And
like, weren't you dying for like 6 episodes?
Didn't you throw up blood on Angel while you were getting nitty gritty? But Mallory's like, "Do you need anything?" And Debbie Morgan jumps down her throat and she's like, "He has a butler. This family will make you a slave or a demon."
Like, okay.
Okay.
So then Richard Lawson shows up
in a ill-fitting suit. Tyler Perry's whoever's doing wardrobe on this and Divorce in the Black is not doing Mr. Lawson
any favors.
Mm-mm.
But this is while that poor Debo man is trying to recount the incident. And he's like, yeah, I was. Basically, Jules is saying, yeah, this guy
Killed his wife.
Yeah.
Or hit and run on the private road.
And then Jules uses AI to make fake surveillance video to convince Richard Lawson.
Mm-hmm.
So while all this is happening, Mallory gets up and says, all the staff, you need to leave. You need to go to the stables.
I wrote down, this is what Tyler does when trade comes over. He makes his staff go to the stables. For this series is like about Black people sex trafficking each other, and these Black elitists that are treating their wait staff like shit.
It's really odd. And then the butler's like, well, it's just myself and the chef or something. And she goes, okay, well, you two need to go to the stables.
Go to the stables.
So you made these two adults who work for you go sit with the horses? Like
that made you a fruit tray at 5 a.m. with a paring knife for Debbie
as
Morgan.
If these people don't know what's going on.
Right.
Then so Richard is kind of in shock because he's disappointed that the person who killed his wife is not one of his nephews. It's like, because he just wants to be angry.
Mm-hmm.
So then Richard and Rico start arguing. And at one point, talking about this man's dead wife, Rico's like, well, because he says, like, you and that damn mail order bride, if you're going to get a mail order bride, you should have gotten a young one. Like, what? It's just so disrespectful.
So he ordered an old decrepit bitch from an online catalog.
So then Richard leaves the house and Jules is out there, and Richard is mad, like, I'm not going to be satisfied. And it's like, wait, what? Because Jules is saying, you need to let me take care of this man because you already are hot. Like, we can't forget you killed like 4 people in an ambulance yesterday.
And tried to assassinate your nephew.
So you need to lay low. So let me take care of Debo.
Mm-hmm.
And Richard is screaming how angry he is, how unsatisfied he is. And then I thought it was so funny because his energy is like, I'm fuming.
Mm-hmm.
And then he gets into his Rolls Royce, which have the suicide doors. So, they open the opposite way. And then they're motorized. So Richard, he can't slam the door when he gets into the car because the door closes on its own. So we watch the door close very slowly.
Wait, didn't Charles pop up here too?
Oh my gosh, you're right.
Yeah.
I totally forgot about that.
Exactly. Like
because it was so uneventful, because all of a sudden Varney walks in with Charles and everyone is acting like they saw a ghost.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when Charles explains, well, don't get up for me. Y'all look like you saw a ghost.
It's so anticlimactic.
It's so anticlimactic.
It's just like we forgot that there's a lawsuit against Beauty and Black going on.
Well, okay. So the reason I forgot is because you would think that Tyler would have used this opportunity as a gag, like shock everyone.
Mm-hmm.
No, he just casually walks in and everyone's just like, wait, what?
Mm-hmm.
And then, it's also like, did we forget? Well, first of all, did we forget that Rico was dying? And also, did we forget that there's a multi-billion-dollar lawsuit against Beauty and Black?
I mean, it's so unserious because Charles sits down and looks at Richard Lawson and is like, so you wanted to kill me, huh?
Well, getting back to the Rolls Royce, he can't slam the door. And then when the door finally closes, Richard Lawson takes off it's like driving Miss Daisy. He gets a...
So he's Morgan Freeman.
It's so ridiculous. It's so ridiculous.
Who says greedy sons of bitches that don't know how to love?
Who says that?
Somebody says that because I wrote that down.
I don't even
know.
The way Mallory talks to Jules, bitch, Jules knows that you killed someone and tried to hide. He knows of your secrets.
He knows you killed the woman fatally maimed the woman that has caused all this drama. Maybe you should cool it, Mallory.
She is so loose and crazy with the way she talks to him. She tells him, like, well, you did a good job today by finding this guy to pin the murder on. And then she tells him what? Like get out of my face, or
rude.
I mean, just so rude. I don't understand how this lady runs anything.
Well, I don't understand when she sleeps or eats or puts on her makeup, or when she's I know she used to sit uncomfortably in her couch in the first part of the series on her laptop, but when we see her at her desk, she has all these paper materials that she's doing God knows what on. Like, when did you create this AI video?
Okay, then you know, Kimmie telling Angel, you need to just drive. So they end up getting to a destination, and it's a trailer.
The
And guess who? And guess where they are?
her
Kimmie's mama's house.
But the writing is so bad because he's like, we're 2 hours outside of Chicago. Where are we? And she's like, my mama's house. You didn't ask this in the 2-hour drive and it's about to be daybreak. You're not tired and raggedy and the adrenaline has cooled with whatever other bullshit you were going. You haven't asked her where.
So Kimmie busts into the trailer.
No, and then meanwhile, before she does that, Angel calls Rain again, who's still awake at the hospital, and Rain's like, "Go in after her. That man will kill her."
So Kimmie walks in, confronts her mother, like, you sold your daughter because
there's a new car parked in the dirt.
Well, a new used car.
So
it was like a used Toyota Corolla. You sold your daughter for a Toyota Corolla.
Now, if I was Sylvie, who is the sole daughter in question, and that was what you got, I'd be so sad.
We even hear Kimmie say she had a new car worth more than the trailer parked in front. Like, damn.
And then when we get in, you got a new used car, but no curtains, bitch. Okay.
And then Kimmie walks in, confronts her mother, and the boyfriend is there, who we've already learned from previous episodes is a D-bag. And he starts talking crazy to Kimmie, and she grabs a frying pan and hits him. But that man is not taken down, whoops Kimmie's ass. And that's when Angel comes in with the shotgun and takes her away. So the only purpose of that scene is what? Kimmie getting her ass whooped?
Why did they drive? And then the constant reminder, like, this is a hot car. We're 2 hours outside of Chicago. It's a hot car. She's like, we'll drive slow on the way back. What a waste of time for us and these poor characters
So we know that the judge, Rico Ross, had called that judge to come see him. So the judge finally shows up.
Oh, this scene was bad.
This will be memorable in, like, when I look back on this series years from now. I feel like,
well, it's very phallic.
So the judge, who's scared because he knows something's wrong, and Rico's like, you need to tell me about the relationship you have with my brother, Richard Lawson.
Mm-hmm.
And the judge is like, I don't know what you mean. Okay. Well, why don't you have a cigar? I don't smoke. I insist. Look into the cigar box. So as the audience, I'm like, is there a head in there or something? No, it's cigars. So the judge grabs a cigar, and Rico Ross, Horace says, oh, you grabbed the wrong one. Grab the red one. And this man grabs the red cigar, and it's not a cigar. It's a stick of dynamite.
Dynamite,
like out of the Bugs Bunny cartoon.
Yes,
I don't think you haven't seen a stick of dynamite used this way in a long time.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, I'm not really trying to do shit like that, but wouldn't that be hard to Isn't that hard to get? I don't know.
And Rico tells Horace, put it in your mouth, and then basically says, I'm gonna light this stick of dynamite if you don't tell me what you know.
It is that might as well be a cartoon. The judge
goes, well, I helped your brother set up a money laundering thing with the strip clubs.
Mm-hmm.
And Rico goes, I know. Wait, what?
And also, didn't Kimmie already tell you all this?
So, okay. And then this judge is sitting there scared to death. Mm-hmm. I'm not a tough guy, but Rico Ross, looking frail, kind of, and smoking that cigar.
Glowering at me,
with no tough guys around. He's not the Godfather.
No, and
he's by himself with a butler.
Also, it would take a while for it to burn down, to blow up. So you could just, if you even let him light it, you could.
The judge was acting like he was about to die.
Yes,
I would have got up and beat that man's ass. If I'm going to die anyway,
exactly.
And then I'll light the dynamite and throw it and run.
And also, when he was talking to Richard Lawson, this judge, Lawson was like, "Who are you more scared of?" And he's like, "Well, you." So then, if you're gonna do ratchet shit on the DL, I mean, you're gonna have to gird yourself to be in these kind of situations. So buck up, man.
This scene was so pointless, not menacing at all. Also, at the same time that the judge is there, Terrell Carter, Varney, the lawyer, had come over.
Mm-hmm.
And I knew that something fishy was up. So Rico Ross tells Terrell, go have lunch by the pool while I talk to this judge. So after Rico Ross is done scaring the shit out of the judge, he goes out to the pool. And Varney is saying, like, wow, you're like, this house never gets old. Like, he's been there a million times. But then he asks him, like, didn't you grow up here? He talks to him like he's never, like, he's not familiar, but also like, I'm a part of the family. That writing's terrible.
Yeah.
And then Rico Ross goes on like this 3-minute sort of like homophobic diatribe about Roy.
But about Roy.
The non-gay son.
Like if Mallory wasn't there, Roy would be sucking dick for drugs in the bathroom.
And how gross that is.
Or he said the part of the line I wrote down is like, or he'd just be sucking dicks because they're there.
You know what I think it is? I think that's like, you know, I'm sure the script supervisors for a Tyler Perry production are not allowed to stop production if there's an error. I would bet money that Rico Ross said Roy by accident and no one caught it, because it doesn't make any sense that he wouldn't be talking.
No,
about
but he
Charles.
said he references Mallory though.
Oh, you're right.
So I think it is, and I think
it just makes no sense that he would reference.
I think this is Tyler's way of showing how DL men will
like gaslight.
I
mean, I don't. You know what? You're probably right, because he did mention Mallory, but it just is like, why are you being so homophobic towards your non-gay son when you've also been so vile towards your gay son?
But the audience is supposed to feel like, how horrendous is this? He's saying this to the closeted man that is sleeping with the gay son.
Then Rico Ross tells Varney, you should have been my son. You're so smart. Well, I would hope you think so. He's like defending you in a multi-billion-dollar lawsuit. And then the way Rico is asking about the lawsuit is so casual. I don't understand.
I mean, is that what Sam Walton feels like? I don't know.
And then I guess the purpose of that scene is for Rico to sniff out, like, because I'm assuming that Jules told Rico Varney's gay, because Jules knows about the watch, right?
Yes.
So I'm wondering if Rico's trying to sniff out, like, can he get some from Varney? But also this scene is Rico asking Varney to look over the will again.
But why? Haven't we read this will endless
Hasn't this
times?
will been in play for decades?
What? I don't want them to get my shares. And then Varney's like, well, the only way to avoid that is to have a wife. And he's like, you're still young and handsome. What does it matter if you're dying?
And Rico goes, you don't have to kiss. Stop kissing ass. I mean, unless you like doing that sort of thing.
God.
Like, oh God. That's how Tyler Perry flirts with people.
Yep. I bet.
So then we're back to Kimmie and Angel in the car. And Kimmie, with that deadpan look on her face, they're driving and the sun is coming up and she goes, see that sun? Each day it rises is another day I don't know where she is.
Bitch, you found out your sister was sex trafficked.
You know where she is.
You found out like 10 hours ago. Let's calm down.
How many times? There should be a clicker every time Kimmie says, I don't care. I don't care.
You
seem to really care about some things. Like, stop saying that.
Kimmie is Eeyore as a sex worker. She's dysthymic. I'm telling you.
Then after, how many times did Kimmie yell at Angel about driving? And he's like, well, we shouldn't be driving. We're in trouble. This car's raggedy, blah, blah, blah. And then she asks him, where are we going? He's like, I don't know. We're just driving. What?
Oh my God. Just no continuity.
So then she goes, well, let's go see Rain. And then they get to the hospital and Kimmie doesn't want to talk to Rain.
Rain is just always awake. Like,
aren't you dying from polyps or clots or whatever? But then she is bright-eyed.
With her butt kind of in the air. Like,
yeah, like she acts more like she has hemorrhoids than anything.
And then, like, let's go see Rain. Kimmie sits in the bed, won't look at her.
And Rain doesn't want to talk to her.
Rain goes, look at me. I can't. And then a beat later, okay, I'm looking at you. And then they tell her what's going on with Rico and the shit. And Rain's like, we got to get out of here. We got to leave. I'm stronger than you think I am.
Okay.
Bitch, who's paying this hospital bill?
Well, Rico Ross is.
Well, right, but
okay, first off, Kimmie doesn't want to talk to Rain, even though she said let's go there. But also, you haven't slept in days.
And your eyelashes are still on.
Then it's like, because now I can get it out of my head that Angel said Kimmie's the smartest person he knows.
She is certainly not.
But then it's like,
smartest woman. So
woman. But it's like, well, good thing Rain has a plan. So this person who's been in the hospital for the entire duration of the series somehow has a plan on how to help you get your sister.
Kimmie was
Kimmie is so useless.
stupid. She was demanding Angel bring her back to the hotel where they ran over body to sleep. No, the cops, they are most certainly looking for you there. That is, you will not find rest there. You can't find any other Fleabag motel. You can't pull over
Or
to sleep
pull
in the
over
car.
and sleep in the back of the car.
Oh my goodness, the problem solving skills.
Okay, then we get a scene with Roy and Mallory. And how many of these kind of scenes did we get in the first 8 episodes?
Oh my God.
Where it's just these two. I don't know if Tyler Perry was inspired by Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf. I don't know if he thinks he's serving like bitchy marital back and forths, but this is not it. All they do is just say like stupid, vile things to each other, but it doesn't push anything forward.
Well, because it's established that they don't love or care about another, and this is now a marriage of convenience, so they don't even have to do the song and dance.
Right. And then Roy's like, well, who you been having sex with? And she goes, my man. Well, who's that? I don't kiss and tell. Blah, blah, blah. Well, you don't suck and tell? Oh, well, blah, blah, blah. Then Mallory's acting all nonchalant about it, but didn't she spend 8 episodes talking about who's that bitch? Who's that bitch he's with? And now she's like, I don't care. But we have to keep in mind that even though it's been months since we watched the show, the time lapse is like a couple days.
Yes.
Meaning you were like murderously jealous 2 days ago.
Yes.
And now
I don't think Tyler
now you don't care?
Perry really knows about characterization.
But here's the problem here's what makes it even worse. These 2 seasons aired months apart, right?
Well, it's actually one season.
But this was all shot at the same time.
Yeah,
that means that this person wrote this script all at once.
This person.
And somehow it still feels like so disjointed. Like these characterizations don't make sense from one day to the next.
No, it's like having a disorder, like something along the lines of schizophrenia.
So after Roy and Mallory are going back and forth, he's like, well, I can smell that other man on you.
Dementia precox.
And then Roy bumps into Mallory's driver because they're at their corporate headquarters. And Roy is kind of like, you're having sex with my wife. No, I'm not.
It's your smell.
Well, you want to. And then he smells him and it's like, oh, it's you. Like, I know it's you. And so the driver thinks pretty quick on his feet. The driver pretends to be gay and hits on Roy.
Calvin.
And that bothers Roy. So what does Roy do? Go into his office because, he's the CEO, but ain't no one ever done shit for him, but somehow he's the CEO. He goes into his office and snorts up several lines of cocaine.
He snorts cocaine like Jerry Blank would snort cocaine. Like the reaction is just like, oh!
And then now that he's all high, he is aroused apparently. So who does he call? Kimmie.
Also, I don't know Mr. Perry's experience with that drug, but I think some people have trouble getting an erection.
Yeah, but they still feel like the vibes are there. And we've already established that Roy has erectile dysfunction, so I don't think that stops him. That's why he's so angry with women.
That's true,
because he can't perform.
That's true, but I don't think Mr. Perry is plumbing the depths of that experience.
And of course, Kimmie's dumbass. I'll be right there, Daddy.
Well, she has an ulterior motive now.
She does. And then Rain is like, "Don't you know that's a trap? Like it's a setup." And she goes, "Well, fine. Then I'll go there so I can get my sister. You think your sister is in that hotel room waiting to have sex with you? Like, I mean."
And she's like, "I don't want to hear this. I'm leaving." And still hasn't had sleep. Same eyelashes on. Same smoky eye.
Well, that's all I have for this episode.
This is, I feel like you can't even call this a soap opera. This is a fabulosa opera.
Oh. Anything else?
No.
Ta-ta.